It's Monday, the 14th of February 2022. Welcome to the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Morning, Michael.
All right, 5 stories in 5 minutes. Let's get into it. Really big one to start with, Sean, and it's very much a developing story. The Morrison government has closed the Australian embassy in Kiev, fearful that Russia will soon invade Ukraine.
Yes, Michael, staff are being evacuated and warned that if they don't leave now, it will be difficult to get any assistance from Canberra. It follows US President Joe Biden over the weekend calling European leaders, saying a Russian invasion of the Ukraine is imminent. He also spoke directly to President Vladimir Putin for an hour, though reports suggest no breakthrough was achieved. Russia is still playing down the prospect of invasion, with a spokesperson accusing the US and its allies of unprecedented hysteria. Now, global financial markets are on tenterhooks, with military action likely to trigger big falls. In fact, the prospect of war has already hit markets. Wall Street fell over the weekend, with the S&P 500 closing down nearly 2%, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq tumbled 3%. Brent crude futures pushed beyond $94 a barrel, the highest in 7 years, and gold hit a 12-week high of more than $1,860 an ounce. It's likely the local market will fall today as well. A lot of nervous people around the place.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, story number 2. Big news, Sean, for anybody with a home loan, anyone interested in getting into the housing market. Reserve Bank Governor Philip Lowe says an interest rate rise this year is plausible.
Yes, he sure did. He was speaking after figures showed a 40-year high in US inflation late last week. He warned local investors of the potential for an abrupt adjustment in financial markets, which in Reserve Bank speak is pretty out there. Somewhat ominously, he said for the first time in several decades, inflation has become a major issue in the global economy. He said that when rates in Australia start rising, and as you mentioned, it could happen this year, that's the first time he said that, he hoped the cash rate would eventually hit 2.5%. That's 2.4% more than what it is at the moment. And when that occurs, the standard variable mortgage rate is likely to be around 5%.
Okay. Story number 3, Sean, I think everyone has experienced staff shortages in shops. There seem to be gaps everywhere, all kinds of businesses. Now there's some stats that prove just how big the problem has been due to COVID.
Yes, that's exactly right. More than 20% of businesses had staff unavailable for work due to COVID-19 related issues last month. That's according to the Bureau of Statistics. But among large businesses, nearly 2/3 reported absences. It was mostly related to self-isolation or quarantine requirements rather than people actually having COVID. Now, the crisis goes well beyond staff. Almost half of all businesses experienced supply chain disruptions last month. We're in the middle of earnings season at the moment. It is coming through again and again and again. If it continues, there will be pressure to lift interest rates.
Now, Sean, I know it's only early in the week, but for story number 4, I reckon this could be one of my favourite stories. It is about the lengths airlines are going to attract customers at the moment, and customers are going to be the big winners out of this.
Absolutely. We know that the international borders are opening on the 21st of February, and the airlines are trying to get people to buy fares. There's new in-flight menus, more fully flexible fares, new loyalty benefits, and more modern aircraft than when we last flew regularly, at least. British Airways has teamed up with Dettol to help restore hygiene confidence. United Airlines has added Bondi Beach craft beer to its trans-Pacific flights to give passengers a taste of Australia. That's their words. Qantas is providing vegan options. Etihad is including COVID insurance on fares. Of course, there's also some really good deals around at the moment. East Coast LA return, Qantas, under $1,000 if you get the timing right.
Oh, that is pretty incredible. That's why it's one of my favourite stories of the week already, even though it's only Monday. Story number 5 today, Sean. Interesting one about a major initiative to clean the world's oceans.
That's right. A group of European development banks are set to spend about $6.3 billion by 2025 to try and stop plastic waste from polluting the world's oceans. The Clean Oceans Initiative, led by French and German banks, hope to make a dent in the 8 million tonnes of plastic that enter the ocean every year. The $6.3 billion, which is Australian, is much more than it has ever been spent previously. Now, most of the garbage is thrown away on land or into river systems, and it eventually finds its way into oceans. But wouldn't it be nice if that money could be used successfully to clean up the oceans?
Yeah, great story, that one. Okay, that's it. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Monday, the 14th of February, 2022. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't quite enough, you can find our longer daily podcast called Fear and Greed on your podcast platform. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.